right, Mr. Murphy. Don't know if you heard Tommy there or not, but if you're not at an actual sporting event and yet the national anthem is being played on the television, are you standing? You sitting? What are you doing? I'm going to put you on the spot as we get you going this morning.
No problem. I would stand if I could. I'm not sure if there's any published protocol about what the scenario Tommy just outlined. But if I was at a table and I could stand, I would stand because it's just being shown and it's broadcast over the whole dining room. So I would do that. And if I was like Tommy and my back up against the booth and you got to get people to move, hey, excuse me, let me step out here. It's a little different.
Yeah. I admired the people that did. They didn't set a trend in the restaurant last night, but they did. What an entertaining game! I'd pick Florida in my bracket. I might have had a little wager on it here at the casino last night on Florida, and we got to halftime, and Houston was leading the game, and I said I feel good about Florida because, Tom, in all these Final Four games, all three of them, I think the team losing at halftime ended up winning, right? So these were all three entertaining, come-from-behind wins this weekend in San Antonio.
It was a great Final Four. Houston got a little bit of a dose. It wasn't as bad because that collapse by Duke was an all-timer. That was an epic collapse. This was just more of a mild collapse. But the way the second half started with Florida racking up all those fouls and Chinyello losing his patience and getting the technical and falling behind by, 11 or 12, it didn't look good. But, and Clayton hadn't scored yet, but they got going. And Clayton, what a clutch player. It was his defensive flyby that caused Sharp to, put the dribble down on the deck and not pick it up for some reason. So, yeah, Florida did not feel bad at halftime, but it did feel bad about 5 minutes into the second half.
Tom, let's talk about that because Clayton got lost. If you watch that play, he got lost on that. And then he just, as you said, sprinted to the very top. This is a kid that wasn't hitting jack and was 3 of 10 last night, I think 1 of 7 from 3, and yet he still made the play when it counted. He's a Florida kid, starts his career at Iona, had like 3 scholarship offers. He's got to go down as one of the best players in Florida history based on how he finished his season, right?
Yeah, I think so. And I'm glad he won the most outstanding player of the tournament despite having a bad championship game. You and I were texting about him. He's just a dog. He's a clutch player. I know he didn't turn in a ton of clutch plays yesterday, but that defensive play was one of them. And he did get some scoring late in the game that was, vital. So, yeah, what a player, and I'm happy. Just a smart kid. He made some killer plays in the Auburn game, and then also in other games in the tournament.
Tom, yours down the middle and as steady Eddie as it gets. So I'm going to ask you this: Is Todd Golden got any nerves? Like, is his antics? Has it rubbed you the wrong way? I'm just getting annoyed by him. Maybe it's just an SEC coach that ticks me off. But is there anything that's irritated you about him the last couple weeks?
Yeah, he's a little over the top. Some of his rants he throws on the sideline look a little, young. You know what I mean? Like, kind of ranting and raving and kind of crying to the officials. So, yeah. But, then again, Bruce Pearl, I like him. I like him a lot personally, but he gets too mad, like he's going to blow his top. And, I thought Mike Krzyzewski was calm and cool, but late in his career, he would get hot under the collar and yell. But I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just too old school on that. And today's coaches just throw fits. Cal gets mad, but he doesn't get that red in the face, going to blow my stack type look very often.
Yeah. Tom Murphy with us, brought to you by the Arkansas Beef Council. Let's shift gears a little bit. Spring football back underway. Rebuild of the offensive line. We've discussed that. Practice has been a little bit, not a little bit, a whole lot more accessible to the media this year. Tom, what if when you felt up to it and had time, what have been your takeaways going over and seeing practice?
Yeah, I happened to bump into Sam on Saturday's deal. That was going to be a scrimmage, but it turned out not to be. It was so rainy, and I think when you're inside, you feel a little bit tight in there and don't want to risk injury, so they didn't scrimmage, but they will make it up. He says he likes this team. Now, will their turnover in roster be greater than most teams? Probably so. They might end up with 60 newcomers. which is crazy to think about. But there was a good organization to the practice. I like what's going on at quarterback. I wrote about that on Sunday behind Talon. Now, there were some picks and there were some bad snaps in that practice too. But I just like the competition behind him. KJ Jackson's doing nothing to, lose the number 2 spot. But it's good to know that you got Grayson Wilson and Madden Maliava and Blake Boda behind that are pushing. I mean, these are not just slouch, just walk-on quarterback kids. These are kids that, and I'm not saying you can put Blake Boda in at Tennessee and he's going to move down the field, but I'm just saying they're competent. And Bobby Petrino is an ace quarterback tutor, and you can just see that out there on the field.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. You got a pretty much intact coaching staff. You had one change there, and I think that's going to pay dividends too this year. And you're going to see it with the holdover players and not having to change communications, not having to build the relationships from ground up. So I think maybe you're going to see a little more momentum coming out of spring just based on the continuity of the staff.
Yeah, that's a great point. This is going to be a great kind of puzzler in terms of how much personnel can you change over and still be a competitive team? Because this thing gets real for them after the first two, the A&M and the Arkansas State games. It gets real. I mean, you're on the road at Ole Miss for week 3, and then you go back the same drive and go to Memphis, which is not going to be an easy game in week 4, and then you come home and have Notre Dame. So how quickly can they be competitive? How many players can buy into the system, play within the schemes, and do the things Bobby Petrino and Travis Williams want on both sides of the ball? It's fascinating. You're basically restructuring your entire offensive line. You're filling in almost entirely at receiver. Outside C.J. Brown, a couple other guys. Total changeover. Changeover at running back outside of Rodney Hill, Braylon Russell, who were not the top guys last year. To me, this is going to be a study in personnel management and motivation, and it's going to be fascinating to watch play out next fall.
Tom, baseball tonight, they'll take on Arkansas State, 6 o'clock here in Baum-Walker Stadium. This weekend, they'll travel to Athens, Georgia. When you look at just the complexion of this team so far, the hitting's good, the fielding's good, and the pitching is good. And I say good. They're all great. I mean, they're statistically like within the top 15 of every major category. I guess what stood out to you the most thus far, nearly halfway through SEC play?
It's really wild that they rank up there in everything, fielding too, and ERA. I would say this: it's the additions of the portal guys and how what their batting averages are. How Davalon has been. I mean, you couldn't have asked for more basically from a leadoff guy, hitting with power. Kozel, I mean, Souza was going to be the second baseman. Now these two guys are battling it out, and he's playing some first base where Rocco Pepe's down. So. Iredale, everything you would have wanted. Justin Thomas has been a great fill-in in the outfield, to the point that Kendall Diggs, isn't getting the playing time that he might have. So here they are now, unanimous number 1. Arkansas State coming off their first win over a ranked opponent at Coastal Carolina since 2020, and now they got a really big fish. So this is a big game. If Arkansas wins, they'll be 31-3, which would be the best record of all time in Arkansas baseball, which is just really hard to fathom when you look at the changeover in personnel that they've had as well, and an entirely new starting staff. It's mind-boggling.
One of the things I've been kicking around is like you got to go up against Wes Johnson this weekend, a former Dave Van Horn disciple. You got to close out your season with Tony Vitello coming off a national championship. Dave's coaching, his pedigree is kind of hurting him in a sense, isn't it, Tom? Because now these guys are coming back with some just ferocious teams.
This is going to be a brutal stretch. I mean, they still have Florida and A&M to go, which are teams that were basically as highly regarded as any team in the conference going into league play and have struggled, although A&M got it back, against Tennessee last weekend. But this is a brutal finishing stretch. 2 teams picked to finish it near the top, and then 4 teams that are basically at the top with Arkansas when they have to take on Georgia, Texas, LSU, and Tennessee. I don't know if Arkansas can hold on to solo possession of first, because that is as brutal a stretch as you could imagine. But it is going to be fun to see it all play out. And, I mean, Arkansas fans are so blessed to know that in baseball, your postseason is going to be super meaningful. And if they can hold on and win half the series they have left, or maybe 4 out of the 6 in SEC play, then you basically know you're going to have a home regional and super regional.
Yeah. Tom, your voice and your strength sound so much better this week. Sounds like you're heading in the right direction.
Guys, I got to tell you, last Thursday or Friday, I had to check up Wednesday, and I still wasn't eating, maybe like an egg or something. But come Friday, my appetite came back, and I've had some meat, and I can feel the difference. It's been amazing. It's been a long road to recovery. I appreciate y'all hanging tight with me through the scratchy voices and all that kind of stuff.
I'd like to lose a few pounds, but I don't think I want to do it that way, Tom. No. It's probably not a recommended way of doing it.
No, Tommy, don't advise it. Not good. But you know what? I'm feeling better, and I've had super, super outstanding support. I was at practice the other day, and Sam Pittman came over, gave me a hug, was welcomed by Kyle Parkinson and his staff, and it was really, really cool to be back on Saturday.
Well, man, I'm so glad to hear your the strength return to your voice. It's noticeably different this week, and it does my heart good just to hear you're doing better.
Outstanding. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the time.